Hey grade 7, welcome to another exciting edition of Mr. V Teaches Math. And today what we're going to be doing, folks, is looking at something called scale drawings. And so the goal for our time today is to use equivalent ratios and proportions to solve problems involving scale drawings. Now, it's important to remember that a scale drawing is used to show something that is too large or too small to draw to its actual size. And it's always written like this. You always see it, the drawing to something in real life. Notice how it's shown as a ratio, but it's being shown as the drawing to real life. So what that means is that, let's say for example you see a scale that's written like this, as 1 to 5. That means something like 1 centimeter on the drawing represents 5 centimeters in real life. Okay? It's also important to remember this part, that it goes both ways. It's either too large or too small to show in real life. Okay? So let's get down into a problem. And so what we have is the 7 tribes that make up the Pacific Northwest Cultural Unit. These people are known as the totem carving people. A totem pole is like a family coat of arms, and this totem pole right here at the right is a scale drawing of just a section of a totem pole that's found in the Queen Charlotte Islands in BC. This is a real totem pole picture anyway, that really exists out on the west coast of Canada. This totem pole is drawn to a scale of 1 to 30. The scale can be written as a ratio as 1 to 30, which means that 1 centimeter on this drawing represents 30 centimeters in real life. So the question then is, what's the height of the totem pole in real life? Okay, and so I got a paper here for a solution, but the first thing I need to do, if I want to know what the height is, I need to get out my trusty Staples brand ruler, and I'm actually going to measure how many centimeters high this thing is. And so I'll kind of go to the middle, and I will find out that, if I do my counting, that the height on the drawing is 12 centimeters. Okay, that's how high this totem pole is over here. Okay, so I'll try and keep this over here. So our solution then, we're told that the scale of the drawing is 1 to 30. So for every centimeter on the drawing, it equals 30 centimeters in real life. Now, I'm going to show it to you a couple of different ways. We're going to use a proportion. We're going to say that this ratio is going to be equivalent or in proportion to a different ratio where the first number is 12. Okay? And what we have to do is figure out how to get from 1 to 12. Well, that's easy enough, that we multiply 1 times 12. So if this is a ratio, then we need to know what that second number is. Okay? And so we do the same thing where we multiply by 12. This number 12, if you remember back, is our scale factor. Okay? And so now what I'll do is I will bust out my trusty calculatrice, and I'll say if I have 30 centimeters and I need to multiply it by 12, what I get is a total of 360 centimeters. Okay, or just 360. So, if the scale is 1 to 30 and I have 12 centimeters in the drawing, using my scale factor, I find out that in real life, this section of totem pole is 360 centimeters high, or 3.6 meters, which is probably a more appropriate way of expressing this scale. Okay. The other way to do this is you can set up a proportion using a fraction, or using fractions. So you'd have 1 over 30 equals 12 over the height of the actual totem. Okay, and it gets done the same way. You multiply by 12 here, you have to multiply by 12 here, so you still find out that the height actually equals 360. It doesn't change the overall answer, just it's a different way of setting it up, and really depends on personal preference which way you want to show these things. I'm a fan of using this method, but you're welcome to use the fraction method as well. Okay, so let's try a different example where we have a diagram. This is a scale drawing of what's called a fin whale. The scale is 1 to 200, which means that every 1 centimeter on this drawing is 200 centimeters in real life. So the question then is, what's the actual length of the whale? So for our solution, we should know a couple of things. First of all, that the scale is 1 to 200. This means that 1 centimeter on the drawing represents 200 centimeters on the whale in real life. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let the letter L, this is lowercase l, represent the actual length of the whale. So here's how I'm going to set this up. I'm going to use a fraction form. This is my ratio, 1 to 200, and it's going to equal, and what we see here, I don't know, it's kind of hard to see. I'll put it a little closer. This is our diagram. It's a little out of focus. What we see is that the diagram itself is 10 centimeters long. Okay, and so 10 is going to go up here because this is on the drawing, and this is on the drawing, and this is real life, and this is going to be, I'm just going to use a cursive L. Okay, so this is on the drawing. This is 1 centimeter on the drawing. This is the actual length of the drawing. Okay, this 200 means 200 centimeters actual, and this is the actual length of the whale. Now it's important to remember to make sure that the numbers are in the proper spots, right? So the drawing numbers, so like the 1 and the 10, that's on the drawing, those numbers are the numerator, so they go on top, or they're the first terms of the ratio. The stuff that's the actual numbers, that stuff goes on the bottom. They are the denominators, or they're the second terms in the proportion here. Okay, so I'll just rewrite it over here. We have 1 to 200 equals 10 over L. Now, scale factor, we know that to get from 1 to 10 is times 10. Multiply that times 10, which means that L equals 2,000. Okay, which means that the whale is actually 2,000 centimeters, or if you want to use a more appropriate term, 20 meters in length. Okay, and so that's an introduction to scale drawings. These two examples with the totem and the whale, these are taking things that are larger and making them smaller. You'll be given opportunities to take things that are very small to make them larger, and I'll just give you a quick little heads up of some of the practice. I'll show that. This is the textbook. You'll see that there's a little shell and a bee, and you'll get an opportunity to tell me how small those things are in real life. Okay, so that's it for today. Have a great night.